CMUEagles.com with Central Methodist head women's basketball coach James Arnold as his team prepares to host Evangel on Thursday inside Puckett Fieldhouse at 5:30 p.m. Central Time. Coach, your team coming off a 9-point win at Avila last Saturday, the first league win this season. How does it feel to finally be off the schneid?
Feels really well. It's a good feeling. I thought we played really well. It's anytime you go on the road in this league, it's very tough to win. Avila had been playing pretty good basketball. It's a nice Avila squad, and I thought we didn't play a great basketball, but we played really hard with a lot of effort, a lot of enthusiasm, and because of that, we were able to play just good enough basketball to come away with a nice victory.
This is the third straight year that Central Methodist and Evangel will battle in the dinner in the house night that Central Methodist is doing inside Puckett Fieldhouse. For those fans coming to the game, just give a brief mention on what dinner in the house night is.
Yeah, it's really exciting. You know, when I first came up with the idea a few years ago, I was kind of skeptical about whether or not it was a good idea or not, whether it would be a distraction. It certainly has not been. It's been the exact opposite of that because it brings a lot of students and people to our campus that may not have come to the game, particularly on that night. Court B, we're very fortunate to have two great courts in our Puckett Fieldhouse, and Court B will be turned into a dining hall, and all students on campus will have the opportunity to eat there as well as outside people. I know that there's a Boy Scout troop coming that's going to eat there. I know that a lot of fans will have the opportunity to come in. It starts at 5 o'clock. It's a low cost. Meal plan students can get in there and eat, but it's a great opportunity for us to showcase our talents, to bring some people to the basketball game that may not have normally been planning on coming, and it's just a very festive atmosphere.
This is a series that has been pretty much near the 500 mark during your time in Central Methodist. Before getting into specifics, just talk about the Central Methodist Evangel rivalry and what it's been in the last 3 years.
Well, I mean, every year it's been we win there, they win here. Last year they beat us here. We had a nice win down there. It's been, like you said, it's been right around 500. They're always extremely well coached. Leon Neal's a Hall of Famer. And his wife has been with him for a long time as his assistant, and she's also one of the best in the league. They always work extremely hard. The one thing you know about Evangel is they play year in and year out, especially this year for sure. And it's not arguable, the toughest schedule in the league and maybe one of the toughest schedules in the country. So there's no surprises. They've seen everything. And they went out and played in California, played some of the top teams in the country again this year, in addition to the College of the Ozarks and some of the schools from Oklahoma. So we know that, you know, they're always ready to play. Coach Leon Neal has been coaching in the HAC longer than maybe I've been alive, and just a seasoned veteran who's very smart and very wise, and every year has some sort of way to find a way to work his magic and win some big games.
Evangel, not an impressive overall record, but 3-1 in league play. What do you think has been the difference for their success in league play as opposed to struggling outside?
Like I said, they've played a really tough schedule. Sometimes some of their games that they've played that have been their lighter non-con games have been some of our other tough games for some of the other teams in the league. I also think they're playing Paige Patterson as a freshman. Their leading scorer, the Longley kid, the transfer from Harding, is new. They've got some new pieces they're trying to fit in there. You combine that with the tough schedule, and it takes a little bit of time to find your legs. It's not unusual plan of attack for what Leon and them have done down there. Coach Neal and them have done down there. They've played a really tough non-con to give themselves a chance to really find each other and battle. They've played some exhibitions as well that haven't showed up on the win-loss record that has also toughened them up.
When you look at the last game between these two teams last season, a 4-point upset loss by Central Methodist to Evangel, what were some of the things you remember for that game and that kind of put you in a hole early, and just talk about your ability to battle back once Swanson got in foul trouble?
You know, last year was interesting because, you know, if you tell me we get Swanson in foul trouble here, I think we have a pretty good chance. But they also have a senior point guard. Last year was a junior point guard, Amanda Landell, who's just been around forever, it feels like. And it may be the best point guard in the league, just as far as toughness goes and overall IQ of the game and understanding how to work the game. And I thought last year she particularly did a really good job of controlling the tempo. They were a lot tougher than we were here at our place, handled a lot of the back and forth a little bit better than we did. And again, I remember it being a pretty well-played game for both teams, but, you know, Evangel thrives in the half court. And if there's one thing that stands out about last year's game at our place, and then what we need to do this year, is the fact that they are very, very good and very successful in the half court. It makes sense when you look at their personnel. Heady, smart point guard, a couple kids that can really shoot the basketball, freshman of the year post player returning inside who's having a great season as well in Swanson. That lends itself to be successful in the half court. We need to push the tempo interestingly enough, even if this game gets a little sloppy, I think it benefits us. I think that tempo and that style of play against some opponents is not advantageous to us, but I think against Evangel it will be.
In last year's game, you control the offensive boards 18-3. Is that something that you preach to your players, that you might have an edge in your post play, or even with your guards being able to crash the boards?
Yeah, anytime we can control the rebounds, it's certainly a big deal. That stat last year was certainly an anomaly. I think the free throw line, they went to the free throw line a lot last year and converted some shots, which offsets that. We weren't getting ourselves to the free throw line. There's a time or two this year and last year when we're so perimeter oriented that we get away from getting to the free throw line and getting easy baskets. And if I remember back to that game, that was certainly the case there. So we've got to be aware of both the rebounding factor and the free throw line factor, both sending to the line less, getting to the line ourselves, and also controlling the boards. We spent a lot of time this whole semester talking about that. One of the reasons that we were successful at Avila on the last game out is because we were successful on the boards.
Longley and Swanson account for 47% of their team's scoring this year. Do you view that as a positive in knowing that you maybe only focus on two players, or even as a negative knowing that if one player is not heating up, the other player can get going and so forth?
Yeah, I mean, there's two really potent weapons. It's pretty similar to the group we just saw with Avila, who has two really strong players that control a strong percentage of their scoring. The difference is, though, is that Amanda Landell is not scoring, but she's perfectly capable of any night to really hurt you. They have some other shooters off the bench. Paige Patterson's a really nice freshman that we even recruited, who I know is capable of scoring some baskets. The Brown kid off the bench is capable of scoring some baskets. So I think they're a little deeper than just the two players, and maybe like some other teams haven't been. But I also like the fact that we can go in, if we can figure out a way to get a matchup and figure out a way to try to take one of those kids take one of them away, or not allow them to have a great night. I think it certainly helps.
With that being said, the two players accounting for 47% of their offense, that means that Avila's probably not going to put up a lot of points. I believe 58 points per game, so lowest scoring total offensively by any team in league play. Your team is 30-2 when holding opponents to 60 points or less. You have to be kind of licking your chops when you hear something like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, that does make sense, but you also have to look at margin of victory when it comes to their victories and things. That's the way they want to play, and that's why that coming back to the up-tempo is so important to us. I think if we can get the game, once we can get to 60, 61, 62, 65, 67, hopefully, I think our chances of going up, our chances of win go up exponentially. But keep in mind that if they're running, if the style of play is in their favor, if the tempo is in their favor, half court, grind it out, let Swanson do some work on the inside, then I think the advantage certainly goes to them because they're going to want it in the 50s. And last year here at our place, that's exactly what happened.